Big smiles, Lee.
I'm smiling.
Thank you very much for joining me, Lee. So for anyone that's joined, that's not met Lee before, or anyone that's yet to join, today I'm joined by someone who is really special. She holds a special place in my heart. And she is known to me as Lee Wright, and to many others as Miss Angel. And what makes Lee really unique is that she, for me, is able to connect to, afterlife, the afterlife. And that's what I've called tonight's episode. So, Lee, thank you very much for joining. I've kind of shared with you what I want to take you through, and it's just to share with everyone, obviously maybe a wee bit of your story from the beginning, from when you kind of stepped into your gifts. And what I'll do is I'll allow you to introduce yourself, and then I'll go into asking you some questions. So yeah, I'll hand it over to you, my darling.
My name's Lee Wright. And I'm a spiritual medium. I love it. I love talking to dead people. Just love it.
You're about the only person, Lee, and that's something that I want to touch on as well. Well, no, you're not the only person, because I think with the shifts that's going on in the world, a lot of people are now actually starting to tap into their intuition, to tap into different energies. And me, myself, working with the energy in the physical body, you're actually working with energy that's outside of that. So I have some questions for you, Lee. But before I do that, how are you feeling today?
Feeling a lot better.
Good.
I am feeling a lot better.
Good. So what I want to do, if you can actually take us through the first time that you actually realised that you were gifted, Lee. And you see it as a gift. You see it as a gift, but you've told me your story, so I know. So I'm going to try and zip it, and I'm going to let you talk. So you talk us through what was going on in your life, and what age were you?
I always knew. I knew something was there, and I sort of tapped into it when I was 36.
Okay.
Something happened, and it just shifted the curtain. It moved the coat around me, and I thought, oh no, I'm going off my head. So I just thought, I'm not going to pay attention to these people that are walking about and nobody else can see them. Because if I draw attention to them, then people are going to think, oh, she's not
Off
right.
her head.
She's not right. And it was my dad who said that I see people that are dead. You see, he calls them dead people. And he was the one who said, you see dead people, Lee? And I'm like, no, I didn't. And I started doing readings. Right, but I would say the cards, but I wouldn't know what the cards were saying. I was listening to people that were dead. So I was going, and these people were going, aye. And I just said to my dad, they're saying aye. I thought I was a good guesser, but I'm not that good guesser. And he said, you see dead people, Lee? And then I sort of embraced it.
Yeah. So you've shared your story with me, Lee, right? And I'll get to the bit where you were 36, because there was a moment in my life when I was 36 that things started to kind of happen for me as well. And I don't know if there was anything that was happening with you hormonally even then. I don't know. But I'm not going to go there yet. What I want to do is I want to rewind it right back, right? So when I first met you, Lee, you'd shared with me what it was like for you growing up as a child. And you'd shared some stories candidly with me about even back then as a child, and I don't know how many people that I speak to that said they had imaginary friends. They're like, and like mums, parents, like they would kind of shut people down, because I remember for me, I used to think that I could control the weather, right? And I was chanting to the skies and stuff like that, and saying incantations and stuff when I was really, really young. And I think I manifested a bit of a car crash. It wasn't severe, but I think I did that. But after that, I shut it down. And that's so true for a lot of kids who have not yet been programmed or pulled into the world that it is. They're actually very gifted when they're young. So could you share with me the story that you'd shared with me a long time ago about when you were younger?
With William?
Yeah.
I saw him about my house, and I said to him, I said, Ken, what you doing? What you doing here? And he says, that's your bedroom. Boys are not allowed in that bedroom, so I'm staying out here. And we were just playing the hall, and he told me about how he was in the war and stuff.
Wow.
But I used to sit and watch war movies with my dad, and he'd be like that. Well, wee lassie watching war movies, but I hated my feet being wet. And William told me that he had like his foot rot or that. He had that.
Wow, so you actually so William was your imaginary, not your imaginary friend, but that was a person that was with you. You could almost say that that was a kind of spirit guide at that age, but you were actually physically feeling sensations where he had actually stuff that had been wrong with him. Did you share with your dad at that time that you had, right? And is that when your dad says, Lee, you see dead people?
Well, no. When I was 2, I had meningitis, and I got to meet my grandmother, who only had one leg. And I told
she was
dad,
in spirit.
She died when my dad was 12.
Wow.
And he said, how would she know she only had one leg? Because she told me to tell him that she walks with 2 legs. Then I came back and I just started seeing all these people about me, but it was freaking him out.
Right, okay.
Because I was about 4 or 5, and he just thought, oh, she's up screaming at night and all that. He told me to put an imaginary jacket on so that I wouldn't see anything or that.
Right, okay. Do you want to know what's amazing is he knew, because how could he advise you what to do? So that's something that's obviously been passed down. I don't know how many people have actually shut things down out of the fear of being judged. Because I myself, like when I was doing I've started doing it again, but my astral projection and receiving signs and symbols and messages, it gets quite lonely. See, when you're going through this real experience, you've experienced it yourself, but you can't like sharing it with other people that you're either psychotic, off your head, or whatever. But your dad was very obviously intuitive himself, and he tapped into his gifts, so he was able to share that with you. Is that something that you do to this daily? Do you still put up your jacket? Is that what you would use to protect yourself?
Sometimes it's once I let it do, it's like it fell off, and for a long time I didn't know how to put it back on. So I would be quite open, and I would be feeling like at work I'd see stuff about, and I'd be like, do I tell them I see this person beside them? Do I know? Ken? And it's hard, because sometimes they just want messages. They just want messages passed on to let you know that they're all right. To tell you the simplest wee things, just to say, look, you done your best.
Yeah, and I think it's so beautiful, because even like that's what I say to you, right? And I think what's wrong with this world, and what's been wrong for a very long time, because like one of the modalities that I do is quantum healing hypnosis technique, right? And see, because of the word hypnosis, see, because of what people see on TV, because it's showmanship, right? So they kind of, they look at all of this thing as, oh, your magic ball and all your wee sparkles and crystals. And I'm like, the first time I met you, Lee, I'm like, I don't see you as that. I see you as somebody, you're a grief counsellor. Like, you're able to bring closure to a lot of people that are going through a really, really bad cycle or moment in their life. Like you've been in the depths of grief. And that has the possibility to really knock you for sick. So for me, like, you being able to bring that closure to people and that connection, it's just a beautiful, beautiful thing, Lee. So like you mentioned there, like being at work and stuff like that, and you would see all of these things. I take it, is that around you all the time? Right. Does that not get very like tiring? And this is something that I'm trying to say as well. So see if there's people, how do you protect yourself or shut yourself down from the overload of that on a daily basis?
I don't. Sometimes I don't, because it's I don't know how I can explain it. It's like when I'm walking down the street, I'll see them.
Wow.
I can see them in pictures.
Yeah.
And it's like, if I see too many, I just go, so they don't know I'm about it.
Yeah, I've actually seen you in the hub when you've been in the hub, and you've kind of just closed yourself really down and kind of disassociated yourself with everything that's going on round about you. Would you say that's probably your protection then? Is that you just say no, not at this time, so it's free will, but no, and shut it down?
Aye.
Yeah.
I say to them, I'm in charge. You come to me when I want you to come to me. But I can't stop seeing them. Because it's just like as if I'm looking at you. They're just walking up and down. Aye. You've got a few there.
Do you want to know what was interestingly? I had this conversation with you, right? And my husband's very skeptical. And last Friday or the Friday before, I don't even know what brought his attention. It was movement in the kitchen or something like that. And he picked up the phone to look in the kitchen, and there was 3 orbs. There was 3, and he's like, Lindsay, what the fuck? Like, look at, and I was like, hallelujah. Hallelujah. So he was actually able to see for himself. And I was speaking to Scott about this today, actually, because he says, like, do you believe in ghosts? And I said, well, I believe in energy. I says, and all that ghosts are is non-physical energy. And like, then you can go into reincarnation and all that kind of stuff, like before people reincarnate. And it's not that they're lost. They've sometimes just got messages of they can't get closure themselves until they can connect. Do they ever see the pain that people on earth that are still here, that they're going through? Do they ever come and say to you, like, I can't cross over until I share this message to let them know that I'm safe, I'm in a beautiful place, stuff like that? So does that happen frequently?
All the time. I had a reading a couple of weeks ago, and it was someone who lost their grandson through a tragic stuff. I don't know what to say. She was like a mother to him. And he was sort of hiding. I seen him hiding, and then he was popping out and he was popping in, and other spirits was around her, and they were telling me that she's broken. She's trying to reassure her that he's here and he's sorry, and he didn't realise what would happen, that the pain that they're in, he's trying to help their pain. And it is, when I see kids, it is bad, especially when they choose a different path, how to go. Where it's not a natural way to go. He told me stuff to reassure her that he was the baby. and she had looked after him when the mum went out to work all the time. So she was like a mother figure to him, as well as a grandmother. He was clarifying that to me.
Aye, right, okay.
Where it's some are just so heartbreaking, and they just keep telling me stuff to tell them, to reassure the people that they're here, that they're all right.
Yeah. Do you want to know? I think, see what's beautiful even about this conversation, Lee, right? Because when you think in terms of consciousness, and emotions, right? So, like, yeah, really, the human experience and the level of awareness is all about the consciousness of the physicality, the consciousness. So, even when these spirits are on the other side, they're actually still able to feel emotion.
Aye.
Really,
They want to give us healing. They want to give us love.
yeah.
And it's all about letting. It's just they're like, we're not here in the body, but we're still here.
Yeah, and it's actually moving into that, because, like, I shared something with Kevin as well about Dolores Cannon, and what brought me peace was, whether people want to believe it or not, we all have, it's all free will. Like, at a soul level, we choose, and sometimes this is a hard pill to swallow, what I'm about to say here, right? But we choose who our parents are, where we live, the kind of experience that we want to have for our soul's expansion and growth, and the day and the hour and how we're going to die. And you have some souls that would come into this world and they're literally there for a small period of time. They might incarnate and go, whoa, I don't actually want to do this, I want to go back. Then you get stillbirths and stuff like that. But I think for me, when you start to look at, it's not the end of life,
it's the beginning.
So it's a whole death and rebirth. But when you start to look at it from that perspective, that in itself actually just brings you a level of peace. Doesn't it? Like, it doesn't stop you. Like, when somebody tragically passes away, it doesn't stop the rawness of that emotion that you feel. But when you've got that kind of depth of understanding and knowledge at the back of your head that that was their path, that was their choice, you kind of can go, right, okay, but you miss them as a human being. You actually miss them. You miss not being able to see them, smell them, hear them, be with them, laugh with them. And I've kind of, like, I'll openly admit it, I've spoke to my mum more and my brother more since they've been gone, which probably I'm still holding on to a wee bit of guilt there, and that's why I still try to have that kind of open connection. And I say thanks to them because they send me wee things or they'll give me wee nudges, and that's what I personally feel anyway.
You have something planned for the hub, and she telling me to tell you it's going to work. Something different, something really different.
Right, okay.
Nobody knows about it.
Oh, my mic just fell over there. Shh! Don't mean to tell anybody.
I'm not going to tell anybody. You see, it's a fantastic idea. Nobody knows about it. Don't tell anybody until it's in the pipework. It's exciting, and it's going to go really big.
Yeah, this is what's wrong with me. I get super excited all the time. Like, I find it hard not to share the things that it is that I'm doing. But yeah, no, I get that. Thanks, Lee. Thank you. Right. So, do you think that everyone is born with some kind of psychic or intuitive gift, but we just forget?
Everybody. It's like if you have a feeling about somebody and you think they're dodgy or they're all right, or you think, oh, she's going to give me some messages soon, or this person likes me, or this. It's about turning and tuning into it and listening to it. Because a lot of times, the older we get, our anxiety, our overthinking, our clouded judgment
the ego
blocks it all. And in the culture nowadays, if you've got anything that's psychic or medium, or you do spooky stuff or anything like that, you're considered slush.
Yeah. Do you want to know what's interestingly, right? So everything that we do at the Hub is all about working with your own divinity, your own energy. It's actually about working with lifting your feminine energy, your creativity, tapping into your intuition. The Kundalini activation stuff that we do, there's people with light language that's activated. I did a ceremony at the weekend. I've never experienced anything like this in my whole entire world. And do you want to know what was beautiful, right? See, when I was astral traveling before, I didn't know what was going on because it was like an out-of-body experience, right? But I was tapping into what I would say different realms. I didn't even know that until I'd read the book. I'd interviewed another woman on here about soul mastery, and then I'd read a book called The 9 Dimensions, and they talk about gatekeepers of each of the dimensions and stuff. There's some dimensions I never got access to. I kind of just got scanned and told to, he never said do one, but he didn't give me access, so that to me was him telling me to fucking do one. But
yeah, you'll have a pass soon.
Yeah. But see that as I was going into each of these realms, right? Like I would basically go, and then I would go into fits of laughter, and then I was speaking all of these different languages, right? So what that is see, when we get out of the ego and out of the logical mind, see this stuff that's waiting to just spark within us. You're like, why are we not all tapping into this? What do you think shut people down, Lee? Do you think it's like cultural programming and all of that kind of stuff? Right, okay.
It's TV programs, education, it's shutting people down. There's no tapping into your holistical part, no tapping into your energy, because we can achieve anything. If you put your energy into something and your mind into achieving it, it relaxes that much that you'll go and do it.
Exactly, Lee. I've been saying that for such a long time, but you get this law of manifestation, and really where focus goes, energy flows, right? But it's not just like you're magnetizing. We're all magnets. So what we think and what we feel and what we believe, so it is. Yeah. And it takes a while. It takes a while for you to start to be able to actually get into a place where you are able to start to really manifest. And that, do you want to know, it's not even manifestation, because manifesting without taking the action, it's a pipe dream. But see, when you magnetize, like you believe, you feel it, it's like it's in here, and you draw that to you. Right. So when you were saying tapping into the energy, because I remember, and I shared this with you, right? Because you'd say to me, Lindsay, you're sitting there, you're like, you've got a crown on, you've got five
lights.
Yeah, 5 lights, right? I fucking shit you not, right? I think it was about 2 months after that, I ran a bath and I shared a picture with you, and the bath had a crown with 5 bits. Can you remember the picture that I shared with you?
Yeah.
And there was something as well, Lee, right? Because I hadn't met you before I'd went to Nicola's Women Warriors group. And I was sitting in the circle and you said to me, Thomas, Tam, oh, he's young, but I didn't know that you see them, like if you're seeing dead people, you see them as younger versions of themselves. But you'd say to me, something hit him, he get like hit with a car, and I'm like, no, that's not what happened at all. And then after that, I'd actually phoned my mum And I'd say I was obviously a medium, and she says, I says, Thomas came through. I says, my gran came through as well. I says, but Thomas was there. She says, like, he get hit. I says, what? I says, what? Did anything like that happen? She says, Lindsay, the veins in his feet had popped and he collapsed and banged his head, and that's what put him into the coma. Aye. So, like, I'm sitting and going, you didn't know me for Adam, Lee. Like, there was no way that we could have had any connection whatsoever. So for you to have that, I was like, fuck, right, okay. This woman is absolutely gifted. Okay. So how do you go from realizing you had a gift to learning to use it with intention?
It was with the cards at first where I was drawn to. And it's like anything I said, I'd pick a card up and I'd turn it around and it would be the same what I would be saying. Wow. But then once I acknowledged them, it all just fell into place. Ken, I went to a lassie's house and I gave her a reading, and I says to her, I said, there's somebody in your living room, and she's got a hoodie on, and she's got fleecy jammies on, and the hood's up, and she's going, you're fucking shite. You're fucking shite. Oh, I'm touching my mate. And that was my first acknowledgement of them. That's when I says, no, right, well, come and down and tell me what you want me to tell her. Right. And show her that I'm no shite. You tell me what you want to tell her. Yeah. And I started doing, and I told her what she says and what her sister says. And then after that, it would just, it's like lit a switch. I acknowledged them all.
And then they all come through. So it was almost like an acceptance on your part.
Mm-hmm.
Was that like so? It was first accepting them to come through. Right. Yeah. So Lee, you obviously, like, you offer like mediumship training and stuff like that, and you offer out readings. What would the best advice be for you for anyone that's actually wanting to explore mediumship? What would you?
To look for one that's no in it for. I'm not going to name any names, but there's people out there that just, they'll say, great, give me £200 and you'll get 10 video calls, or you'll get that. You don't want that. You want a connection. You want to sit down and explain every single thing. You don't want somebody paying extortionate money, Ken, because you've got mediums out there that are charging well over £100 for a reading, and you're like,
aye, this is what's wrong in this world, right? Because it's actually finding the authentic people. Because there's that many people that are out there that are kind of, they're fake, they're fake, and by the way, they've not got the right intentions. See, for me, like, it's going with your gut feeling. Like, see, when you go somewhere, it's you know, right? So don't base it. I would say, if you're going to go down that path, don't base it on how it looks. Base your decision on how you connect with the person and how you feel that they're going to be able to support you. Yeah.
You don't want somebody that's just got to throw you on a video call and sit and type and say, right, do this, do that, and you're got your eyes shut for half an hour. You want to be thrown into it. You want to get. I'm a sort of person, a medium, that I'll push you. I'll push you into coming out your comfort zone. I'll push you to put you on top of a platform and speak to people. I'll show you how to do cards. I'm a very upfront person, and I'm a very I'm not egotistical in the slightest. I don't see myself on. I do stand on platforms, but I don't see myself on the platform.
Right.
Then I'm somebody that's upfront. I swear a hell of a lot. Yeah. If you don't like my readings, then
you don't like them.
Then
don't come back.
go to somebody who you connect with. You want somebody who connect. With the training in mediumship, you want to be shown exactly what to do, exactly to set up safety guards to make sure you're safe. And I don't mean that spirit's got to be at the bottom of the stairs and start moving stuff, but you want to safeguard your energy and protect your energy.
I'm going to give you an example of that, right? And what Lee's saying there. When we are doing any sort of energetic work, we are tapping into energy. So if you are not protecting your energy, it's like energy vampires, right? And an example would be going to visit somebody and you're just not aligned with them, or you feel drained. That's an example of you not actually protecting your energy. So you being able to protect your energy every day before you leave the house, even if you're not going to go into mediumship or anything else, I would say that's a must. Even start doing that, and you'll actually start to feel the difference. So when you can, it's all this is about is tapping into different energetic frequencies
within you and within it.
And out of it. So this all ties back as well, right? Because there's a multitude of research. And as I said, the Monroe Institute, they've got CIA documents on tests that were done where soldiers were put under a certain they were in a meditative state that allows you to go energetically to different places, because all you're doing is untapping all the stuff that we forgot, right? So see, in terms of like when I talk about generational trauma, all that is an energetic imprint of stuff that's happened. By the way, it could have been World War II, it could have been World War One, it could have been when we were fucking monkeys or fish or whatever. Some could have been mermaids. Do you know what I mean? It's that where there's been a traumatic imprint that sticks in the lineage, it sticks in the energy until somebody heals that. Right? So I'd shared with you now, when you were younger, you had a near-death experience, Lee, right? Which kind of brought forth your gifts, right? So when everything that was going on with me a couple of years ago, I didn't know this either. This is how naive I was too. And I shared with you what had happened, right? Because each night I was aware that I was leaving my body, right? And one, Aaron was laid next to me, and this fucking creature, it was like a lizard type golem thing. It never had any colours. Never had any colours. He's a shit. It was almost translucent, but it peeled itself out of my body and crawled up my wall and looked back at me. And when I spoke to you about that, I'm like, I thought that was me. And you says to me, Lindsay, no, because you're raising in vibration, that was an entity that was attached to you, and they can't actually stay in your body anymore because you're raising in frequency. So see when you're seeing or hearing, that's that in itself is a gift as well, Lee. Like is that then just you tapping into a different energetic frequency that allows you to see and hear?
It's like because I had the near-death experience, it's like the veil, as they say, the veil's got a hole in it. It's got a hole in it, so I can just basically like just tap into it. It's like I'm sticking my hand through it.
Wow!
So I'm getting that connection. I used to see an old woman. She used to tell me, right, that's you ready for connect. That's you connected. And all I saw was the back of her, and it was like she was an old operator. She had the old thing sticking in, and she would tap in, like bring all these different
like Beetlejuice. Like Beetlejuice. What are they doing? See this? I've said to Kevin 100 times. That's all the movies, and even the movies, it's all subliminal messaging. And this shit, they get it for somewhere to create the movie. And most of the time we think we're watching a movie for enjoyment when it's real.
We are. See, even that with the Beetlejuice thing. I was talking to a boy when I was at the school, and he was in a coma, and he said he was waiting in a waiting room, and he was waiting to get called, and there was one door and there was two doors. So there is. There's truth in what you're watching. Aye. Truth in what you see. Ken, for me, I just I think it's been in my family for a long time, and I just think certain ones in my family can tap more in than what the other ones can.
Right,
the other ones in my family are a wee bit like, oh, I'm scared. Where my other ones are like, my dad saw them. My sister sees them. She kind of runs away a bit with it. But I see and I hear them. And the thing that they gave me another connection was pictures. I love pictures. All pictures.
I know you ask to see them. The things that you're actually able to tell for just looking at a picture, like something that's happened to them, like the trauma that they've actually like endured, like physical trauma, you're able to see that. You pick up and so much stuff intuitively. And you mentioned something there, Lee, and I'm going to ask you, what's been the hardest part for you in embracing your calling? Because if you've got other family members that are kind of shut down, what's been the most difficult part for you?
Seeing stuff that I don't want to see.
Right. Okay. How do you... and this is the empath stuff, right? How do you deal with that? When you see what you don't want to see, how do you wash that away and stop yourself from getting attached to it?
Well, my dad told me what to do.
Right, okay.
I done a reading for somebody and his sister had committed suicide. Because of trauma for the past, family trauma. They were all getting abused.
Yeah.
And he says, but she was lying. She was lying. I went, no, she said she wasn't lying because the same happened to you too. And he started greeting, I started greeting, and I says, Dad, I can't do this again. I can't go and do this. He says, you need to learn to tell them to take it all away.
Yeah, right, okay.
Now, the stuff I see, I tell them to take it all away. So people will say to me, oh, you've read from me before. I'm like, but I didn't, they take it away.
Take it away.
Take it all away.
Know? That's really interesting as well, because it's not too dissimilar. Because when stuff was going on with me and I was getting sucked out my body, nobody could tell me, Lee, like I wasn't part of the right people, surrounded with the right people to help me manage what the fuck was going on with me, right? But I didn't realise either that, see if you say, slow down, because I was literally like getting sucked out my body. But see, and then I did actually click on, like eventually to go slow down. But it slowed down to the point that it almost stopped. And then it's true, like take it away. So just take it away. So it's the intention then, isn't it? It's like, right, I'm done with that, close that down and take that away. Okay. So Lee, we spoke briefly there on past life regression, right? And I'd shared obviously like soul contracts and stuff. Do you believe yourself in spiritual contracts or life paths being pre-written in some way?
I believe in the life path and I believe in the soul contract. Right. For me, I don't get to see the people that I love that's passed over because I have to grieve like everybody else. But
it must be so hard that you can see everybody else's, but you can't see for yourself.
No, I feel my dad coming in, but I get emotional, so it's like he pulls away.
Right. Okay.
I feel my granddad all around me. I see my great granny.
Right.
But what helped me through my grief was I looked up and I saw my dad and his mum, and they were at this big, huge table, and she was talking. She was saying, right, this is going to happen to me. This is going to happen to me. But I'm only going down there for a bit and coming back up here. And he then says, this is going to happen to me. And because you came back up early, all my life I've missed this connection. And he says, I'm going to have 7 children. I think I'll stay longer. Ken? And for him, he had to go and say goodbye to his mum. He was talking to her. Where for him, for us, he was ventilated. And he always says to me, the worst thing ever happened was going to say goodbye. And that's, for him, he put that in to make sure we didn't get to say that because he didn't want that.
It was hard. Do you want to know, that's quite interesting because that's almost like like when you're younger, if you fall off a tree and you hurt something, you'll then say to your kids, don't climb the tree, or don't do this, or don't do this. So he's actually taken that trauma experience for him and tried to protect you for that then. Yeah. Right, okay. So have you ever had experiences with spirits that have challenged or surprised you?
God, I had one woman, she threw the iron at my back door because I kept missing the reading for her daughter. So it was like the daughter couldn't make it, then I couldn't make it, then she couldn't make it, and I says, right, get out of my house. I'm not reading for your daughter. Then this deed woman chased me in the hall. I got up for a pee in the morning and she chased me. Stay here. I went, So I ran up the stairs and then I seen her I said to her, Tip. And then I seen her when I done the reading, and I says, oh, I'm sorry, I tell your mum, Tip. And I said, her name's Jean.
Did she forgive you?
Aye, she did. She kept saying, I'm sorry, hen, I scared you, I'm sorry. My legs are bad, I can't run up the stairs. I've had quite unusual readings. I've got a friend, and every now and again he sends me a picture of his beard, and I can read his beard. Wow. And I had something in it, and being dyslexic, I put it into Google, and I was like, and it was Latin. And
I was just going to ask you, has anybody ever tried to speak in foreign languages for you?
Oh, aye. So with my friend, I go a boat. It was a shipwreck, and he was on Snapchat, and I was like, oh, I don't think you should go on your boat. I've got a funny feeling. He's like, it's happened, the shipwreck. His boat sunk.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Then there was another time I was at work. And I work in an industry, a biscuit industry. So I was feeding in the biscuits, and there was this man, this Polish man standing there, and then there was this man behind him, and he had like a big thick collar on, and it was like gold, a big huge gold coin with red bits.
Right.
And I kept going, English. And the Polish lassie's going, what's happening? I says, that boy there's got a dead man beside him. And he says, the lassie spoke to boy in Polish, and I says, what is it? And I says, this man keeps saying you need to get that lady out your house. She's crazy. She's going to hurt you. You say, I keep trying. She'll not leave my house. So a day I always say English.
Right, English.
I've had that. The most weirdest one I ever had, and I actually thought, that's it. I'm broke. This woman came up to get a reading off me, and we were doing it in the community centre, and I was like, oh, like, God, that's weird. She went, what's weird? I says, there's a man there, and he's like an African man with like clay and everything in his hair. And I said, the Queen's sitting there, the Queen Mother's sitting there. She went, she says, I can take that. I went, because I thought, I'm imagining. I thought, no, Queen Mother's not going to come in and say hiya. She just sat there with a wee handbag, smiling at me. And I says, how can you take the Queen Mother? She says, well, I clean the house for her nephew, Richard Lyon Boynes or something.
Oh my God.
And I was like, Elvis, do you know Elvis?
Oh, brilliant.
I was like, that's my first dead person that's famous. The Queen Mother.
Oh, wow. Have you done any more since then?
No, nobody famous, no.
Nobody famous. Okay.
But I'm hoping. I've got a feeling I'm going to read for God, I keep forgetting his name. He's in the Landman. Oh, Kevin knows him. I've done a podcast. Billy Bob Thornton.
That'd be quite good.
I'm going to read for him. I am.
Right, I want to be watching that show as well. So remember and let me know when that's on.
I'm going.
Okay. So what's been the most beautiful or powerful message that's ever come through in a reading? Is there anything that springs to mind?
There's been a couple. There's one would be my first one.
Right.
The one who said I was shite.
Okay.
And there was one that I done with a grandmother and the grandson, where the grandson had committed suicide. That one. Because I gave him the connection and her the connection that everything's all right.
Right, okay. So see that, like that wee thing that stuck with you with that very first reading, the I'm shite bit, has that stuck to you, Lee? Have you, because you must really trust and believe and know that like you're good at what you do, right? But if you're still remembering that, has that lingered with you? Because if it's still prominent in your head.
I think it was because it was my first one, because I allowed them in.
Right, okay.
I allowed them in. Okay. I allowed them to come in.
Right. Did that knock you?
It did. Because it was like as if there was just like a light shining, and it's like everything. I could see everything.
Right, okay. Right. How do you go over that then? See if you get knocked down, like, because there is a lot of skepticism out there. So what would your advice be to anyone where, do you want to, we can get things wrong, we're bloody well human, right? But there is things, like, especially if you're doing platforms and stuff like that, because you'll have hundreds of people sat in front of you, and then you've got all of these dead people to contend with, all battling for information. How do you center in and focus on a specific message for a specific person? How do you do that?
On the platform, I love platform. I could do it every day. 10, 12 of them. I love it. I relax and I say to them, right, he's coming in because I'm going to do readings. You come in, give me clear communication, give me the person I'm supposed to get. And I just sort of relax, and I just like to go look about. If I see somebody dead and they're standing next to that one person, then that's me tapped.
That's it. That's you. Right. Okay. And that would be your cue, sort of a thing. Right. Okay. So if have you ever had any visits from spirits, like when you've not wanted them, like when you've been in the shower or
all the time?
All the time. What do you say then?
All the time.
Fuck off.
Fuck off. And the most appropriate times they come in, because there was one time I was sort of seeing somebody, and we were getting a wee bit and outside, and I don't know if I should be saying that, but I thought I thought he had taken me to some sort of dogging site, because I was like, there's all these faces, but they were dead.
Have you ever seen anything like that before? Do you ever see any of them having,
like, a dead person having?
No, nothing like that. No. So they just come through, and it's just them. They're there, and they're there with a message. No. You don't see anything.
No, and when you're getting up to something, like, they're like,
I can't believe they're there though. Did they go out? That's good. Right, that's good.
They're no,
because they'll be freaking out. I'm not sleeping me ever again, because my grandma's got to be watching on the bed.
No, they just
it's very private, and they respect your privacy.
They expect your privacy.
Right. So if someone's listening and wants to connect with a loved one, Lee, who's passed away, what should they know before seeing a medium like you?
To make sure that they are connected to spirit, because there's a lot of psychics, clairvoyant, stuff like that. You want to speak to someone who does see or hear or feel that there's spirit around. You want to have that connection to spirit. You don't want to sit down and have cards when you're like expecting spirit.
So how would somebody know who's authentic and who's not? Is it just the message that we get that would resonate? Because they've got a way of going through so many Peter Pans, Paul, like until they find a yes, right? So what would your advice be to allow people to know that they're with somebody who is authentic?
What I like for me is I don't want you to feed me anything. I don't want you to say,
It's just
if I say to you, oh, I've got a man here, oh, that'll be my granddad. Don't say nothing. And it's all about, if they see them, it's all about describing them to you, or names that are connected to them. Because a lot of times these people talk about the living, and sometimes they give me names that are people that are living.
Right, okay.
And look at if there's stuff on Facebook, look at the
reviews and stuff like that. Yeah.
If somebody you know's had a reading with somebody, or you want that, you want to have that. You don't, but I wouldn't be paying £100 and odd for a reading.
Well, do you want to know something, Lee, as well, right? Like, I think this is a thing too, and I think people who are in this kind of business, like, you've got to know your worth and you've got to know your value, right? So knowing your worth and knowing your value, there's never a right or wrong price point. Like, see with what you do, like, I know with me working with energy, like, if I'm going in doing Kundalini activation, see the next day, I'm floored. I can't, that's taking all of my energy out of me. And when you're working in energetic realms and stuff like that, like, do you want to know, there is some people who are actually like authentic that do charge a wee bit more. And by the way, quite rightly so as well, because see, at the end of the day as well, sometimes you get what you pay for, but that's what I mean. It's trying to make sure that you're actually working with the right people. And I think, like what you say there, it's a good advice for people to actually go on and check reviews or word of mouth through people who have had experiences with and had that connection.
I mean, I've had quite a lot of people come and say, look, I've paid for this reading, I paid £100. They couldn't get anything off me. And I'm like, well, you want to go, if you're paying £100 for somebody, you want to
ask for my money back.
I ask for your money back and look at the reviews and see if they've got years of experience in it, or they're not just got to sit and give you cards, or you want that spiritual connection. Cards is fine too, but if you want spirit, you need a medium.
Yeah. Okay. So, Lee, have you ever had a client? I'm actually watching. There's a fucking wasp going round my ring light, and I'm ready to hit it with this gift voucher. Have you ever had anybody? Oh, there it's coming. Who has completely changed after a reading with you? What's been the biggest inspirational thing that you've experienced? Seeing, like, after the advice, what's been the heart-touching moment for you?
I done a reading for a lady who lost her mum, and I gave her a reading, and she just, I could feel the relief, the knowing that her mum's there, knowing I told her stuff that she was doing that day, that her mum knew she was there. And it was just, I felt so much relief. I felt so much love. And it relaxed me, but it made me a wee bit more appreciative for what I do.
See, for me, it's a massive thing that you do, Lee. Like, it's all like the heart, it's the closure piece and all the rest of it as well. So every time that you're with somebody, if they're getting that closure, if they're able to move on, that's fucking massively, absolutely massive. So, looking back, how has mediumship shaped who you are today?
It's made me appreciate everybody. It's made me realise how relationships, not just with man and wife, stuff like that, relationships with family, friends, it's made me more patient and more caring.
Okay. So it's shaped you, it's just helped shape you into a better person. Okay, what advice, watching this fucking wasp, it's no funny, what advice would you give to someone who thinks that they might have spiritual gifts of their own?
Look for a good teacher. Look
Right,
for
okay.
somebody that will be patient, and a good environment. You want the good environment. You don't want to be in a crowded environment. You want to be in a
You have
spacious
that witty
environment.
one, yeah.
I know just that. If you're having I've had classrooms,
Right.
and I've worked around them all. Me and Nicola's worked around them all, and it's about that. It's about
Right, okay.
finding that opening for them.
Right, okay. Okay.
And show them to get it.
Right, okay. So, Lee, what message do you feel people most need to hear right now in this moment in the world?
That your dead people love you and they never leave you. Never leave. They always come in. They're always trying to help in some way through the trouble that you're having. The lessons or the blessings that you're having, they're always there. They're always protecting.
Yeah. So it's like they never leave, and you've got your guides. You've got your guides. Okay. Lee, do spirits evolve or grow after passing? Or do they
Aye.
kind of... Right,
They
okay.
grow.
Right, okay.
I've actually, to be honest with you, I've seen miscarriages, and it's like they look different over there, if you know what I mean. And it's just they grow to the age of 21.
Do they not grow
Yeah.
any older than that? So see, when
No.
you see them in the past, are they always 21?
They don't need to grow any further.
Right, but if you've had somebody that was still like miscarried, like what you said, they will
Or
grow until they're
stillbirth.
21. Oh
Aye.
my God. Oh my God.
They look different. More like, see, for somebody that's been on the earth and somebody that's had a stillbirth or a miscarriage, stuff like that, they grow and they look different. It's, you know that there's no the traits of the world on them, the bad stuff on them. Like when
So
somebody
they've not
goes
had the
up,
trauma.
they've not had the
Right,
trauma of
okay.
life. It's all been love and light.
So do you see a difference between somebody who's had a physical experience and someone who's grew up in spirit? Do you visibly see, like, do they glow differently? How
It's the only thing I can explain is they look more angelic. They look more. There's no trauma in the face. There's no. I can't feel any trauma around them. Like, we are all here for lessons and blessings, and some lessons take
That's
its
lovely.
toll on our soul.
Yeah.
And then when we pass over, it's all about healing you. So they don't need healed because they've never had a trauma.
Because I've never had it. Lee, that was something beautiful you just said there, lessons and blessings. And I think a lot of, even what I had to go through with the reflections when writing my book, like I was re-traumatizing myself, like going through that process. But then see at the end of it, the penny dropped, and it's actually allowing you, when you find the lesson in something, that is actually a blessing. When you're able to see it as a lesson, it puts a whole different slant on the experience. Now, I know that a lot of people have had a lot of really bad trauma, and it's very difficult telling somebody that's a really bad trauma to look for the lesson in it. But when you can observe it without the emotion, and you can actually see the bigger picture, you are actually able to find the blessings in that. And I think in the blessings, you're able to forgive not just anybody else, Lee, but you're able to forgive yourself. And that's massive. It's absolutely massive. Right, one last question, because we're going to be wrapping up soon. Have you ever felt truly afraid during a spiritual experience?
Aye.
Right, what is that? Are you able to share it?
Yeah, a young lady was murdered, and I had been doing a reading. I done a reading for her sister, then I went doing somewhere, Brookspurn, I think it was, and I done a reading for some of the family, and the grandmother was waiting. And it was at the end of the night, and I could see her at the the light. And she was getting frustrated because there must have been about 7 or 8 of them. So I was a wee bit tired. And she was getting frustrated because I wasn't connecting to her, because she waited for the grandmother and she switched the light out.
Oh my God.
I was like,
has there been any, like, I remember watching like Poltergeist and stuff like that when I was younger. I still can't watch that to this day. Like, have you ever went to anywhere where there's that sort of level of disturbance from spirit, and how have you felt?
Well, I went to a house.
Right.
There's quite a lot of bad energy in it.
Oh, is that my granddad's?
Aye.
I remember you going there and you're like,
heavy.
no, yeah, I need to get out.
Aye, that was heavy.
Lee, do you want to know something? It's quite interesting because it was really difficult for me, and that it's not nice to say it, but it was difficult for me to really connect with them. Even like when they were like, don't get me wrong, they were loving in their ways, but there was just a lot of trauma, a lot of trauma that happened there. And you actually were able to tell me something specifically that had happened in the corner of a room where between people. I'll not share that. I'll not share that just now.
No.
Right. So listen, I don't know if there's anyone that's on that's watching that may want to ask Lee a question. If you do, drop a comment in the comment box below and we'll obviously get that question up. But before we do that, I do want to share that for anyone that's local to the Whitburn area, Lee and Nicola have a psychic night on the 25th of this month. There's still a few tickets that's available, Lee. That's on Facebook. Lee does offer readings. She can be contacted through her socials, and her socials is Miss Angel. Yeah, so she can be contacted on Facebook or Messenger or Instagram. And then there'll be events where Lee will be joining us here at the Hub as well. She's already done an event with Kelly. So just watch the space on Life Force Hub, because we'll obviously be sharing information there. And again, I'm just going to plug my book as well if anyone's interested. The Soulful Explorer, Architect to My Soul is available in all major bookstores, but Amazon seems to be the easiest one, so I'll kind of just leave that there. So is there any comments or anything come through? Let me just have a look. I'm watching this wasp. It's just kind of just walking around. It's not coming anywhere near me. It's just exploring my desktop. I'm like, fuck. It's having a grand old time, so it is. I'll try and get out the window. Right, Lee, is there anything that you want to share? Any last comments?
I don't know. I think we covered it all, did we not?
We've covered it all.
Absolutely. Always be open to the light.
Yeah.
And stay away from narcissistic people.
Yeah. You want to know that again, that it's the energetics and narcissism and drama. And I think that's what I discovered a long, long time ago. It's like you do tend to find people kind of navigate. And I think this is to do with predominantly how we are function, we're set up. We always remember negative things, right? And we look for negativity to kind of validate who we are. Stay away from negative people, right? Life's so much more joyous. Surround yourself with the right people where you're free to be who you are or who you were always meant to be. And I want to leave in the note. Just go after your dreams. Go after your dreams wholeheartedly. And yeah, as Lee says, be open and receptive to receiving everything that's abundant in the world, not just in the physical world, and all of the energetic worlds as well. So Lee, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you. Thank you so much for coming on. I absolutely love connecting with you, Lee. You're just a blessing, so you are. So to everyone else, yeah, that's us done. So we will see you on the next show. So thanks very much, Lee. Thank you.
Thank you.